Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yesterday, one of the assignments you had were two questions on multiplication. At the top, it said you can't redo it, so do your best the first time. Because I took letters and I put together to form words, and I put the words together to form sentences, and then half of you asked me if you could do it again anyway, because you didn't read the sentences. It was multiplication. We've been doing multiplication. There is zero reason for you to miss multiplication, zero valid reasons for you to miss a multiplication problem. I'm going to tell you, if you missed it, walk around that way. I'm recording. If you missed it, you didn't estimate. And I can tell just by looking at answers who didn't estimate. Because this one here, 987 times 65, that was the second problem. My estimation on it would be 65,000. And if you look at your answer for the second one, if it isn't somewhere near 65,000, that tells me that you didn't estimate. I had people get 6,500, 8,000, because you're not doing the first step. We always, and the rock means always, estimate first. Estimate first. So if I'm doing 987 times 65, I'm going to make this problem something I can do in my head fairly easily to find out what my answer will be close to. I can do 1,000 times 65 in my head, and my estimate is somewhere around 65,000. If your answer that you put on that paper is not near 65,000, that is clue one to me that you didn't estimate. Now let me say this, because this is important information for you to do. There were only two problems, which means each one was worth 50 points. Now, I like to give short assignments, but short assignments mean that each problem is worth more points. So if you're not going to take the time and do well on the short assignments, then I want to help you out and give you long assignments. I can give you 100 of these. That way you can miss 30 of them if you want to still get a passing grade. So that is my option if you're not going to take your time and do right when I give you two. We spent weeks doing multiplication. Weeks. And I've told you 1,000 times, you're only multiplying one digit by one digit. If you know your 0 through 9, you should not miss any of these. Our second step, we're going to solve. Use any strategy. I've shown you 3 different strategies that we've done this year. We've done the standard algorithm. And even just with the standard algorithm, you're going to just multiply one digit at a time. That's it. We can also do whatever people call this, which I hear different ways. The 9 is in the 100 spot, so 9 is worth 9 hundredths. The 8 is in the tens, so the value of the 8 is 80. The 7 is in the ones, so the value of the 7 is 7, because it's 7 ones. Or 8 tens, which equals 80. Or 9 hundreds, which equals 900. The 6 is in the tens place, so 6 tens, the value is 60. The 5 is in the ones place, so 5 ones is the value of 5. Still, we're only multiplying one digit by one digit at a time. So let's start with this. I'm not going to demonstrate. I'm not going to do the lattice because those of you that use the lattice are already pretty good at it. So 7 times 6 is what?
42.
42. I have 1 0, and if I multiplied it all the way out, it's still going to stay 420. 5 times 7 is?
35.
Everybody could do 6 times 7 and 5 times 7. Not a single soul in here. Can't do it. 6 times 8? 48. How many zeros?
2.
2. So I'm going to have 4,800. Every one of you can do 6 times 8. 5 times 8 is?
40.
Plus the 0 is?
400.
6 times 9 is?
54.
With how many zeros?
3.
3. 5 times 9 is?
45.
With how many zeros?
2.
And then this goes back to 3rd grade, 2nd grade, whenever you started adding. Every single one of you can add these numbers together. We could go over there and we could add 54,000, 4,500, 4,800, 400, 420, 35. And just like you've always done, you line the place values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You line the place values up when you add. You've been adding since you were 5 or 6. There's no reason not to be able to do this. There's no reason not to be able to do this. Missing them tells you you didn't estimate. Solve. The 3rd step is going to be compare with estimate. When you compare it with your estimate, that's why you estimate first. McMurdo. Yes, I'll say. Go around this way. If you don't compare it with your estimate, you didn't compare it with your estimate because you didn't estimate. And then 4, you're going to check your work. You can miss it if we accidentally thought 6 times 9 was 48. Okay? That's why we go back and check. You cannot afford to miss problems that you should obviously get correct. There will come a time where you'll get problems that are a little more difficult, easier to make a mistake on. These ain't it. These ain't it. Those ain't it. I expect these to be done correctly. And I can tell you right now by looking at your answers that were selected that most of you didn't estimate. Because on that second one, many of you got an answer not anywhere close to the estimate. This is multiplication. It's not even, you don't even have to look at the problem and say, how should I solve that? No, it tells you how to solve it. We've discussed how to solve them. You know how to solve them. But most of you aren't doing the estimating. Most of you at the end are not going back and looking, does that answer even make sense? Would almost 1,000 times 65 be 6,500? No, it wouldn't. That would make no sense. Put forth the effort to get them done correctly, or I'm going to put forth the effort to make really, really, really long assignments so that each question is worth fewer points. Because I know if they're each worth 50 points, that stinks, Mr. McMurdo. Because then I could miss one and get a failing grade. Well, I can help you with that. I can make each question worth 1 point.
Please don't. That's even worse.
The assignments I give you are not difficult assignments. When I give you the assignments, I give them knowing you can be able to get a good grade on them. Don't prove me wrong, because I know you can. So please do it. That's all I'm asking. I will continue to give you 3-digit by 2-digit multiplication problems every day for the rest of the year if I need to. And every day for the rest of the year, I'll put it in the grade book. And if I continue to get people with failing grades, I'll just add more problems every time. They're not hard. 0s through 9s, that's all you have to know. Your journal has it in it. You've all used a multiplication chart. For the love of Pete, put forth the effort. Because otherwise you're going to make me work harder and make more problems and make longer assignments. And then I got to do the work and make the key. I mean, I only had to do the key for 2 problems, so that's a lot easier than doing a key for 100 problems. Do what you can do so that I know if you can't do something, I know to work on that with you. But anybody in here who's telling me by getting a 0 or a 50 on it is telling me they can't multiply, which is not true, because every single one of you in here know you can either find your 1-digit by 1-digit, or you know your 1-digit by 1-digit. 0s through 9s. Every single one of you can do that. Send this to your friends. I want to be rich.